35. The last bottle in the house. I saved it especially for tonight.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, here we go.
Well, come on. May they have a long and happy marriage. And plenty of children.
Thank you, Father. And for the family health and happiness.
Oh, Christy, let's not get drunk now. Mother, but I want to get drunk tonight. After all, it's our anniversary.
Oh, yes. And, Mother, please don't be scandalous. You just love champagne.
Go ahead, Christy. You can have all the champagne you want. Now, don't look cross, Amanda. It's their anniversary and New Year's Eve, too. Everyone is all right to get drunk on Saturday evening.
Careful with that drink, Carlos. You know it's not good for you.
Oh, don't worry about me, Amanda. This drink won't do any more harm than this damn war.
Why? You think it will last that long, do you?
Who knows?
Oh, I don't think it will. I don't think America will take this sitting down.
That's right. Christy is right. It's their business to defend us after all. By the way, Christy, did your foster parents like the fruit cake I sent?
Oh, yes, very much. They loved it, Mother.
It would have been nice if you had invited them to have dinner with us tonight.
Oh, I did, but they'd already left for Camp Lookout this afternoon.
But I thought you said they wouldn't leave the university.
They did want to, but the university president directed all American professors and their families to designated evacuation sites in the hills.
Purely precautionary, I believe.
Oh, yes, Mom and Dad were practically the last ones to leave the campus. And with their specimen bottles, their instruments, and their papers, yes. Can you imagine that? Even in Camp Lookout, they tend to go on with the research.
Just like the Cutlers.
I don't blame them, Mother. After giving 30 of their best years to the study of research, they wouldn't let this war affect their studies.
Oh, then it's true after all. The news I heard at the market today, Eva, it is said that all the Americans have left Finland.
It's only right that they should. Since the university is an American institution, it's highly probable that the Japanese would occupy it the minute they seize Negros.
But there's no war here.
Nevertheless, it wouldn't be safe for them to stay on here. If the Japanese arrive, they would certainly be captured.
But they're not civilians.
American civilians, Mother.
Oh, how about us, Carlos? Don't you think we should go away? Oh, perhaps to Caranoche. I don't want to panic like the rest of the servants and run to the hills, but don't you think that's a good idea?
I don't think that's really necessary.
Well, I hope so.
Oh, Mother.
I wish I had known about those Henry. We could have sent them some provisions. There's plenty of rice, sugar, coffee, and beans in the bodega. And medicine.
I can prepare a medicine kit for them if you want, Mother.
Well, that's a wonderful idea.
Oh, thank you very much, both of you.
Oh, say nothing of it. What's the use of us having a drugstore if you can't give your parents any medicine?
Well, I'm sure Mom and Dad Sullivan would be touched by your concern. I don't really know how much food stuff they brought up, though I heard that they did have some provisions in stored several hideouts from Camp Lookout all the way to Montalino. I heard all the evacuation sites are well provided, so you shouldn't worry.
Yes, that's right. But might as well make sure. But you know, why don't you send them some rice, sugar, and coffee? I will say.
Oh, don't have the whole farm brought up. I don't believe the Japanese will get here at all.
I hope so. Everything seems so unreal. So unreal except that Carnivo is back in Manila for his candidate race. It only seems like yesterday when he was seated right here beside me, wrapping up the children's school lessons. How his face lit up with excitement as he anticipated the joy those toys would bring the children. Such a short time that he was here beside me, lighting up this room with his bright tablet, crawling on the floor with the children, writing on it. Except for his absence now, this war is unreal.
Now, Amanda, don't be upset. Carlito's a big boy now. Why, he can just take care of himself. In just a couple of years, he'll be a doctor, right? He'll be all
How
right.
you can be so sure the things you say, Carlos?
It is so quiet outside. No joking about, no carols.
Just last year at this time, we couldn't even hear each other. It's all firecrackers and fireworks. And we have had fireworks all year, haven't we, Bronco?
Oh, you bet. Did you know that Christine makes greater noise than the Chinese down at the order when he gets smashed?
Which very seldom happens. But it was beautiful. Our names outside, large with light, encircled in glowing rings.
Oh, yes, I remember how your face looked when you saw it.
The nicest surprise I had in my life.
It took Yaga more than 2 weeks to make. And he had to work us out so we didn't even know what he was up to. Mother, I wonder if there will be any midnight mass tonight.
Will anything stop Father Joaquin from his priestly duties?
Not if I know him. But I wonder if there will be any people out tonight. Everything seems so quiet.
There will be one man less in church unless I get my coffee, Amanda.
Oh, yes, of course. Isa, please, Christy, will you help me?
If I fall off to sleep, you won't be able to wake me up with 1,000 firecrackers.
You better not do that. Come, girls, let's get ready.
Another is for you. Ethan.
Bronco,
Yes, sir.
I think now would be the best time to break the news to your mother and to your wives. Miguel, you speak to your mother.
Yes, Father.
Tell them the truth, that would only be fair, but try not to alarm them into it.
Well, I hope they can cope with it. Oh, by the way, Father, you think Mother will get mad if I miss Mass tonight? I might get some sleep.
This man, why, she'll fly into a rage.
I don't think so.
By the way, how many truckloads did you cut today?
Just 5 trucks.
We should get all the cane mills as quickly as we can.
I know, the scholars are getting restless. They all want to go home to their family.
How many hectares more do we have to cut?
About 30 in Galanoche, another 20 in San Jose. I don't think we'll be able to hold on to the cicadas till all the work is through.
Did you leave instructions to Benito? Does he know exactly what he's
Yes,
supposed to
Father.
do?
I was with him the whole afternoon, and I told him that if the cicadas insist to let them go by the end of this week. I don't think we'll be able to hold on to them unless we want trouble on our hands. Anyway, I talked to the guia, and he said we'll be able to borrow his cutters by next week. I also told Benito to have everything milled. Sugar, rice, corn, everything.
Tell him he should store a little of everything in all the park. We should have ample provisions in Valencia, San Jose, Carnoche, and the orchard. In case we have to leave town, we'll have something in store. We should be prepared for any kind of emergency.
I have the same idea.
I'll take them, I'll take them. Carlos, don't you think we should take the Christmas tree down tomorrow? Anyway, the children won't be back till after Three Kings, and Christmas will be over by then.
They may stay at Santa Catalina for some time yet.
Really?
I thought you'll be fetching them day after Three Kings began.
Lisa, why don't you let the children stay with your parents for a while? After all, we've had an old year.
But Miguel, he told me we'll be fetching them. They've been gone for such a long time.
That's all right, Steve. We wouldn't want your parents to feel that they're in a hurry to get the children back.
I just didn't know they'd become so long, that's all.
Amanda,
Yes.
I think your sons have something to tell you.
Oh, really? What is it? What is it?
There's no need to be alarmed, Mother. It's just that Major Anselmo came to see us today.
He didn't tell us. Oh, what? What did he want to see you about?
Well, he came to tell us that we're being called to active duty.
Why? They've taken Carlito. He's out there fighting. But there's no war here. There are no enemies here. Why must they take you both? Isn't one son in the war enough? Must they take all my sons?
As reserve officers, it is their duty to defend this country.
Against who? Where is the enemy? They've taken Carlito to fight an enemy we have yet to see. Against my will, they've taken my little boy, and now they want to take all my sons. But where is the enemy?
This country has been attacked. Our honor is at stake. This country needs our sons, everybody's sons, to defend its liberty.
Country, freedom, liberty. Just words, words, words. Don't talk to me about country or liberty, any of you, because I don't understand any of that. All I know is that it is my freedom to keep my sons alive. No, none of you will go.
Amanda, Amanda,
Oh my God.
Amanda.
Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts.
I know. Believe that I know.
You all this time.
They only told me this morning.
You knew and you never told me.
It wasn't easy.
Oh, Carlos, I don't think I can stand this.
You must. You'll find you have the strength to take what you think you cannot bear.
What is happening? I don't understand.
Magnus, it's happening again.
The occupation of Negros is imminent.
We should see the face of the enemy.
The truth is, we might lose the war. Major Ancelos received an accurate assessment of the situation in the zone. The Japanese forces have destroyed Pride Field, Nichols Field, and all the airstrips in Davao. They have also succeeded in landing 43,000 troops along the coastlines in the zone. All these troops are armed to the teeth with air and naval support covering the ground forces.
But where are our troops?
General MacArthur has ordered a general retreat to Bataan. He pulled out all military installations from Manila and declared it an open city. And when the Japanese arrived, they bombed into the same, destroying all of Intramuros and port area.
But they're not supposed to destroy an open city.
That's right, Christy. But General Homa announced that he would regard Manila an open city only on the condition that all Filipino troops to the Yucatan surrender. Naturally, that proposition is absurd. So Manila went up in smoke. There was massive panic and looting of open army and private warehouses for food. Private vehicles and houses were confiscated. American civilians were rounded up and detained at Fort Santiago. With all the bombing going on, the prospects are all but bleak.
Manila is lost to Japanese hands? MacArthur didn't even defend it? He left it for the Japanese to take. Why?
Well, Mother, they must have thought the position indefensible, considering that the enemy was surrounding it.
But to give up without a fight? I can't believe it.
It's military logistics, Chrissy. You see, to have fought for Manila would have meant risking getting trapped in it.
But
it's better for us now that the war is out in the open coast in Bataan.
But I assume the Japanese have secured the coast around the zone. The naval forces would be all around to secure their invasion.
But even then, when reinforcements arrive, it could cripple or even destroy the Japanese naval support. By then, the Japanese would be in for a long siege.
And that is assuming that immediate aid were at all possible. You see, naval and air support would have come from Pearl Harbor and they've totally destroyed Pearl Harbor.
But this is America's war. They have to come to our aid.
That they will definitely do. But it will take a little longer than we expect. We have to fight until reinforcements arrive. Until then, we can only assume a defensive position.
Dear God, this is worse than I thought.
We have received the confirmed reports that President Quezon has been evacuated to Corregidor.
President Quezon in Corregidor? The Yucatan retreat and my little boy is out there. He's still alive.
Amanda.
How do we know he's alive or dead? How can we know? Everything is happening out there. Do we have any news of what's going on?
But that's because there's been a huge blackout.
That's exactly what I mean. Look, we've been sitting around here all these weeks talking about the war that we don't even understand. We've been sitting around telling ourselves that America can push the Japanese forces out in one flash of an eye. We've been telling ourselves that our little boy is some Boy Scout camp or bivouac. But it's not a game out there. He could be dead for all we know.
Calm yourself, Amanda. It's true the situation is worse than we thought, but you can't blame anyone for that. We've never had any reliable information about the situation in Luzon before now, but we had to take some thoughts about it, didn't we? All right, here it is. Thank God we have some real information now. Now we know what we really should do.
What we have received should not be for public consumption, or else we'll have panic in our hands.
Oh, Miguel, if you have news about Carlito, you must tell me. I must know.
All that we know, Mother, is that his ROTC unit has been inducted into the use of it. The last known position was for the neck of Pangasinan.
He's still alive. My little boy only wants to be a doctor, to cure people, to ease their suffering. Oh, how many lives has he taken?
I don't know, Mother. All that I know is that he's part of the medical corps.
And that should make him a better doctor than any medical school can if he lives to see this war over. Oh, God, I don't know what to say. Now that you have told me that you too must go, what am I supposed to tell you? What am I to say? Go, my son, to the slaughter?
You'll be all right, Mother.
There's a cloud over your eyes, Miguel, when you tell me that. You know it is the truth.
We must believe it.
Truly, faith is only
When do you leave?
Before daylight tomorrow. Isa, why don't you go to the children and stay with them there?
What shall I tell them? They're sure to look for you, Mother of God. What shall I tell them?
The truth, Isa. Tell them the truth in a way that they would understand.
How am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to do that without making them afraid?
They know how. They're all grown up.
Chris, how about the parents? I can have the heat of fantastic.
Don't know.
But you might feel safer out there.
See? My own safety is the least of my concerns now.
But I just want you might feel a little better out there.
Sons, you will send us word whenever it is possible.
Yes, Father.
Let us offer ourselves to the Lord in prayer. In my Father's house are many mansions. If this were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And when I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where you are, there I shall be also. I will not leave you comfortless. I will comfort you. Peace I leave. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. For what you ask the Father in my name, he shall do. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Ghost.
You sure you mean it? Or did you do the plans upstairs?
Yes, I did. Tio, do you know that Manang Isa was crying this afternoon?
Crying?
Why? I'm not sure, but I think it's because she's afraid Professor Santa Maria might join the guerrillas. What makes you think that?
Oh, I should know. I overheard them.
Emilio, I know that Senorita Miguel is almost like a father to you, taking you in and everything, especially after your parents died. But you should show him some respect. You should stop this business of listening to everyone's conversation. Yo, don't talk to me about eavesdropping and all that. Why, I'm sure you eavesdrop on everyone in the family. Me eavesdrop. I'm sure you know everything that goes on in this house.
Well, of course I do, but the members of this family trust me. And you know why? That's because I know my place. So I advise you, young man, to know your place too and stop this business of listening into everyone. It's impolite, you know. I know my place, all right, you know. And you know where that is? Where? With Professor Santa Maria, up there in the mountains. I'm going to learn how to shoot and kill so many jobs. They wish they never set foot in this island.
Oh, so you want to be a hero? You don't even know how to aim a gun, much less load it.
That's what you think.
You haven't been fooling around with the firearms in this house. If the Jacks find out that there are firearms in this house, why they hang us in the plaza?
You're not talking to a small kid, you know.
Oh, you go out to your room and study.
Study, but there's no more school.
There's no more school.
Benito, is the coffee ready?
Oh, yes, Senora. Would there be anything else?
No, this is fine. You may have your supper now.
Thank you.
And bolt all the doors.
I will, sir.
I hope this is still good. It's the third brew.
It's still good, Amanda.
You must be getting used to it, Bob.
Better than nothing, Mother.
How is the leg, Franco?
Oh, as good as you, Mother.
Oh, the wound is healing very well, Mother. But you must be careful.
I'll do all right.
Who are those people you were talking to this morning?
Oh, some people from my unit, Mother.
What did they want?
Nothing important.
You should be careful whom you see. You have surrendered and your unit has been officially disbanded. You very well know you're under surveillance. Be careful you don't do anything which will arouse the suspicions of the Japanese. Otherwise, you might end up in Shannon Hall on campus.
Oh, yes. They say many of those who have been taken have not been seen alive again. They say they're burying people behind Shannon Hall at night. I can't believe it. I can't believe they turned a dorm into a torture chamber. One of my closest friends used to live there. Why, you remember Sarah Thorndyke, don't you, Issa? Yes, the blonde with the clear blue eyes. And spectacles. Lovely girl.
The campuses have looked the same. It's the first thing that caught my eye the moment we docked. A troop of Jap soldiers marched out of the portals to take us in. It was so incongruous.
Now it's crawling those villains.
believed him.
He was so surprised when a few weeks later, 2 Japanese transports stopped at the pier.
One of the first things they did was to declare Silverman University as property of the Japanese Imperial Government and proceeded to set up their headquarters in Gaibo.
They made the dormitories their barracks and Channing Hall the headquarters of the Kempetai. I was there on a visit when they came. We were terrified. I couldn't go back to Santa Catalina because they wouldn't allow anyone to leave the city. We all had to register ourselves at their headquarters.
You should have seen them strut around like little town girls.
That's true.
They lost no time in imposing their demands to the civilian population. They summoned all the local officials who were still here. They called on the governor and the mayor and urged them to continue in office. Governor Villaluna reporting to the headquarters every day. Then one day he just disappeared. We thought he might have been killed. Benito later found out that he and his family had fled to DULAANG. He was apparently afraid for his 3 daughters.
They say Japanese soldiers are raping women.
Then they called on the other officials, urging them to help form their government. Many of them declined, as I did, when they called on me.
They're having a hard time forming their government. Nobody wants to have anything to do with them.
No, but they're having much success in Manila. The list is endless. They've got Recto, Laurel, Aquino, Paredes, Vargas, Yulo.
Oh, well, I suppose some people have to hold the reins of government. What's going to happen now?
We should not do anything which will endanger us. It's a waiting game now.
Is there absolutely nothing you can do?
Mother, I think we should go away from the matter of time, Isa. Mother, the United States will liberate the Philippines. I have no doubt about that at all. No doubt about that. The city is crawling with Japanese patrols. You can't even visit big relatives without getting a pass from the high command. It is impossible to get one. And those drills! It's enough to drive anyone crazy. I don't know if I can see this through with my sanity.
Isa, the thing to do is not to think about.
You say it so easily, as though you were stirring a faucet off. But how can we not think about it when everywhere we turn, Japanese soldiers are watching our every move? Oh, sometimes I stand at the window at night and I look down there at the corner and see their shadows watching this house. Oh, what?
All our moves are under surveillance.
And it's driving me crazy ever since you 2 came back. I can see that they're watching this house day and night. And sometimes I even wonder when they will come and arrest you both for one reason or another and lock you up in the rest. This morning, Mr. Venner was telling me at class that they took her son and he hasn't been heard of since then.
Did she inquire at the headquarters?
How could she? She's convinced that he's dead and she's scared to death. For Annabelle, he was in your unit, wasn't he, Nick?
Yes, he was.
But he surrendered just like the rest of you. Why did they take him?
I wouldn't know. It could be for some reasons, like violating Turkey, for instance.
Oh, they say that the Kempetai are killing people. Everybody's murmuring about it and there's nothing we can do. Nothing at all. Oh, I wonder where Carlito is.
Amanda, he'll be released soon. Miguel and Franco are back. Carlito will be here before we know it.
And why isn't he here yet? It's been 6 weeks since he's lost the boy. You'll be back 2 weeks and your brother is still out there.
It's different with the Luzon forces that surrendered in Bataan and Corregidor, Mother. They were all taken prisoners of war and are being detained at Campo Ranel. We were lucky we didn't have touch up with the Yusufe when they retreated to Bataan, or else we would have ended up at Campo Ranel too.
I never considered the possibility that General Wainwright would surrender.
Neither did I.
Well, I don't think General Wainwright had any choice, Father. It wasn't a matter of choice.
It was a matter of choice.
If you were in his shoes, you would have acted otherwise. Is that what you mean?
Perhaps.
You would have sat it out in Bataan and Corregidor despite the fact that you have a sick, demoralized, and unarmed army.
I wouldn't know.
Well, let's take this hypothetical question, Professor. Consider for a moment that you were in Wainwright's shoes. What would you have done? Would you have ordered your men to sit it out in their godforsaken little foxholes and wait for the enemy to bomb your entire army out of existence? Or would you, like a wounded bull, gather your last breath for a final charge of the enemy with nothing but your bare breast and blind Remuera?
I don't know what you're quibbling about. All I said is that we should not have given up so easily.
Given up so easily? What the hell do you mean?
Stop it, both of you. Ever since you both came back, you've done nothing but get on each other's nerves. If you can't talk about the war without shouting, then don't talk about it at all.
Oh, Amanda, let them talk. How will they know what the other thinks unless they talk?
They're not talking, they're shouting.
All right, boys, you heard your mother. No shouting.
Oh, forget it.
No, I won't forget it. We have to talk this through once
But in the long run, it might not have been the right thing to do.
Oh, you insinuate that it might have been morally right for us to go on fighting only to die. That all those men out there decided on what was merely expedient. Oh, come on, Miguel. Both of us were there. Was any of it easy? You saw it. We were up against a vastly superior army. We were up against strong enemy positions. Their infantry was supported by tanks, the likes of which we had never even seen before. Their artillery was supported by dive bombers with tons of explosives pounding on us while we scoured the hills like rats, hungry, footsore, and practically unarmed. Was any of that easy? Line by line, I saw our men just drop from exhaustion. Well, maybe you, Miguel, because you and your group, you were somewhere else. Maybe you had it a little easier. But that doesn't give you the right to think that everyone else had it as easy as you did. That to your mind was sheer cowardice or merely expedient for anyone to surrender. Jesus, you were just at the foot of the volcano.
Just because you got wounded in the leg, you think you have the worst of it. You wear it like it were a medal of honor.
As indeed it is! Jesus, there you are! Thinking there won't be any Jap for miles around when suddenly the sky